Garfield, a cartoon character beloved by many, yet nowadays understood by few. Today, we are going to attempt to understand Garfield's current status as a meme and its dark undertones. Garfield was created in 1978 by artist Jim Davis. In his early days, Garfield started out as a simple concept. A cat is fat, he eats lasagna, hates Mondays, and pushes around both his owner John and dog housemate Odie. It was a simple concept, made to be relatable and marketable, and it was successful, continuing to be published even today. However, like all things that make its way onto the internet, Garfield would soon find himself with a very different sort of fame, one that Jim Davis could not have possibly imagined. Before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's take a look at Garfield minus Garfield. Garfield minus Garfield is a webcomic published by writer Dan Walsh, using original art from Jim Davis. Walsh would edit Garfield out of his original comic panels and would change text to make John seem crazy, talking to nobody in particular. Surprisingly, the comic also found success. Fans and critics alike praised the comic, with some finding John's exaggerated loneliness both funny and a depressing yet humorous look at the treatises of loneliness. There was no punchline, yet it seemed to be the lack of a punchline that people found humorous. However, while this might have stood on the edge of what Garfield's current status as a meme is, no one could possibly have known what was coming next. So how exactly did you get your start?
Well, you see, I just got my start by eating a bunch of lasagna. And then John took me in and gave me more lasagna, so I just kind of stuck around. Cool. Drained his entire life savings and spent it all on lasagna.
Cool. And last but not least, this is kind of a generally, accepted as fact online, but I want to hear it from the cat's mouth himself. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food?
Yes.
I do like some chicken and waffles. I'm messing around with you. It's lasagna. What do you think? It's definitely lasagna.
Of course.
Lasagna.
It is unknown what the thought process behind it was, but it is generally agreed upon that Garfield first became a more surrealist meme around 2013. Published by YouTuber Pilot Red Sun, the video in question, titled Garfield, features a poorly drawn Garfield in situations similar to those in the comic, yet stripped down to their base elements.
It's time to get Odie off the table.
Don't do it, Garfield. That's our pet dog, Odie.
You're going into orbit, you stupid mutt.
Garfield.
It was done. Garfield had taken his first step into the wide world of the internet, and it was all downhill from here. There's over 40 years of Garfield material to pull from the comics, to the movies, to anything else the internet could get its hands on. No piece of Garfield material was safe, nothing was sacred. Garfield had been turned from a fun and lovable cartoon character into a surreal and incomprehensible meme. But that wasn't all. The internet's love of turning children's characters into horror shows is a strange one. Garfield was obviously not immune. In October of 2013, comic artist Double Baby published a comic in which Garfield became so hungry, he consumes John's entire house. 5 years later, in 2018, the internet began to fancy this new Lovecraftian take on Garfield, spreading him to independent horror writing websites such as SCP and Creepypasta. Nicknamed I'm Sorry John, this new breed of Garfield memes quickly gained popularity, inspiring aspiring horror writers to try their hands at these comics. Alright, so I'm here now with Brian Forbes, famed Garfield aficionado. So, Brian, what do you think, what are your thoughts on the I'm Sorry John meme?
I don't know why Jim Davis, he's the one who made Garfield. I'm not sure why Jim Davis didn't release the entire collection of I'm Sorry John. It's obviously critical to the Garfield canon and lore, but for some reason he didn't feel the need to include it, and now Garfield continuity is very confusing.
What do you think is next for Garfield in the coming years?
The world.
The world.
The world.
It has been a long and strange journey for everyone's favorite fat cat. This tenacious tabby has endured almost 50 years of publication and media exposure. Sticking to a tried and true formula, Garfield's comics have had little change over its lifetime. And so, the internet took it upon itself to change the character. We've seen what the comics would look like without Garfield in an It's a Wonderful Lifestyle scenario. We've seen Garfield reduced to his base elements in a surreal and crudely drawn parody of itself. And finally, we've seen what Garfield will look like as a Lovecraftian entity. Who knows what we will see next from Garfield?